And we're live.
It is the 15th of December, year of our Lord 2025, if you want to believe in a calendar. And if you've watched any of this team's content, we can sort of challenge that. But we're not doing that show today. We're going to talk about the reason for the season here, and that this is a love engagement. How do you promote the health of your furry family and maybe your own as a human, as a biped, in such a positive way as we head into this wonderful holiday season. And I have to say, normally I'm a sort of a Grinch about the holiday engagement because I think every day we should treat like Christ's birth. Every day should be Christmas. But Diane, I can't do this on this show because you've got like a visible from space engagement from your house. So, Burge, you want to do a roundup, introduce everybody? We have Kristen is probably the one we don't know. She's not the mushroom Kristen lady. She is a dog angel or an animal angel. I will stop digressing. Burge, you have the floor.
She is a earth angel. And it's so funny because we have a beautiful angel of light that my husband put in the front little strip, little next to the house part, because it's a little condo, so they don't give you too much room to decorate. And so every time I walk Knox out, he looks up at that angel. And he also looks across the street where Kristen's mama lives, my neighbor. And he remembers all of those people that showed him love along the way. So everybody, I'd like you to meet Kristen. And she's just been incredible helping us adopt Knox. And we couldn't be more thrilled to have her here to share some of her testimonies when helping these babies out. And like to also, welcome Diana and Nature Girl to the panel today, as well as Hercules has joined us, and Cassie, and I think my husband's tuning in from the dungeon today. So welcome, everybody.
Well, thank you for having us.
Absolutely.
Yes, thank you. Shall we get started, or is Cassie going to say something, or Kristen, anybody else?
Well, Bird kind of left us at a dead end without any questions, so
Well, go for it, Cassie.
Cassie. Let's start over.
I like to stir the pot. You know me.
Cassie, do you have a question that's good for a roundup? Can you do a roundup for me, honey?
Well, I think I'm going to start it with the product that I've found to be the most successful so far with my little 9-year-old Maltese Havanese mix, Lola. I've been using the sauce or gravy from the pet ladies here now for probably 6 months with Lola. She still has cataracts, but I have seen a lightening in how much the whiteness is in her eyes, so I have high hopes. The one thing I'm still struggling with is the plaque on her teeth, and Diana was nice enough to recommend a product called Teef, Teef, and I have seen a lightening in the worst of her canines. I still think we're going to have to go in for a cleaning the end of January, but hopefully that'll be the last one we have to do. So thank you so much for that recommendation. Hercules, what is your favorite pet product? Are you there, sweetie?
I'm going to be honest with you. I'll tell you my favorite pet product. It is coconut oil.
Oh, yeah.
Coconut oil I use on Bailey because he has bad gums. He's just unfortunate. He actually was missing a tooth when I got him. He's a rescue. And I put coconut oil in his food every single day. It helps with shedding, it helps with digestion. It kills over 20,000 bacteria. And I also have like a little a toothbrush.
Yes.
It's a soft, it's like a a soft rubber or something, and I'll put coconut oil on that, and I'll go over his teeth about once a week. I don't do it every day because his gums are sensitive, but I noticed an improvement.
Well,
It's
and I was
better.
going to suggest that for Cassie. Cassie, just take some gauze and dip it in some coconut oil and go in and rub the teeth if they'll let you. Do it gently,
Mhm.
and you will see a huge difference. Like the two things you're doing together are going to be great. So I'm excited for that.
So am I.
Absolutely.
Kristen, do you have any favorite thing that you use with the dogs? Especially when they come in initially off the street. Is there a specific product or protocol you use?
I love just to give them fresh food and build up their stomach and their microbiome in their bellies before they start going on purely kibble. So, more homemade food, the better for that.
I can vouch for that. So I cook for my dogs. I cook organic vegetables, chicken. They get the broth from the chicken that I cook,
Mhm.
along with beef liver and rice, and they love it. And I'm actually watching my daughter's dogs, and they're two really big dogs, so I can't give them as much as I give mine. Uh, but they love it over here. Their food's gone in a minute. Like I wasn't even able to get come back in, grab my phone. I went back out to take a picture of them eating to send to them, and because they're in Brazil right now, and the food was already gone. They were just wiping up the bowl with their tongues. I was like, "Oh my gosh, that was
And you know, a
fast."
lot of people think cooking food for dogs is a lot of work and it's expensive, and it's actually the opposite. You can take a couple of hours once a month and make up a whole batch of food, put it in little ball sizes, and put it in the freezer. I have a phenomenal recipe for homemade food. If anybody wants it, just email me at gandalphpets@gmail.com and I will send you the recipe.
Appreciate that. Gandalf, we know you make food. Is there anything else you use? How about with your chickens? Is there something special you use with your chickens?
The chickens are so I live in a 100-plus-year-old property, and there is not a mechanical dishwasher. That would be me. And there is not a garbage disposal. And the chickens are the garbage disposal. You know, my kitchen trash can rarely stinks because there's zero food waste in our house. If I We have a motto, which is chickens don't care. They will eat just about anything. And if you add a little bit of cayenne to your chicken feed, you'll get more eggs. I mean, there's all sorts of, spoiled yogurt is fantastic for chickens. Uh, Spoiled yogurt is like an egg multiplier. I mean, I got 16 eggs so far today.
Wow.
How many
And I'll get
chickens?
more eggs after the show when I put the girls in. So
Yeah.
Did you say 60?
26. I lost another girl a couple of days ago.
Oh, I'm sorry.
What's
we
that?
have a chicken that's 11 who's eating our mojos, and up until the chicken started eating our beef liver mojos, she was in pretty bad shape, and now she's back to being her normal ornery self. So says her mother.
Well, I'm an anti-processed food person for people and animals. I've been known to make my own horse treats, even though they just love the freaking mushroom horse treats.
Yep.
But here's my point. So I have a good old fashioned BDP, a big damn pot. It's whatever that big 5 quart or the five, yeah, is it 5 quarts? It's more than that. It's 12 quarts. It's a pressure cooker, and it's beat to crap. It makes nothing but dog food. And I have 2 big shepherds and a chihuahua. And sometimes I also take some big scoops and feed the chickens. And I use, for the last couple of months, I use lentils as a base. I got a deal on lentils, and I literally picked up 100 packets of lentils. I used 2 of those. And then whatever I've got at hand, it's carrots, it's apples, it's anything that's half turned, I'll throw in there. My current protein is canned salmon, and it's a large can of canned salmon, and it goes in, and when it cooks in the pressure cooker, it releases all of those oils. I put in 3 or 4 tablespoons of coconut oil, And I keep it soupy, and then I just add brown rice as an end, a little bit. And I do that twice a week. And I feed my shepherds a little bit of kibble as a sort of a bulk add.
Yeah.
Sometimes in the morning, I'll feed them one small scoop of kibble, and I get smaller eggs that I can't sell. And I'll put three small eggs in there and whip it up a little bit. And that's their breakfast. So I always do my best to make sure that my animals, whether two-legged or four-legged on the property, the two-legged is the chickens, not Lucinda. They eat the smallest amount of processed food possible. And if you live by just make this a goal, just try and eat the smallest amount of processed food possible and feed your animals the smallest amount of processed food possible. And I guarantee you that future you will thank you.
Oh yeah. Yeah. Exactly.
Everybody's poop will get better. And if you really want to know what's going on with a body, look at the poop.
It always comes down to the poop, right?
If it sinks, you're doing something wrong. If it floats, you're on the right track.
It's amazing how it always comes down to the poop.
Everybody loves the smell of their own brand. That's why your own shit doesn't stink. Okay, Diana, take it away. And then I want to talk about the origin of pet vaccines. And Cassie has a little bit of reading to do that.
We're going to talk about that.
Can you meander your way to that point? I'm going to take a bio break while you take the floor.
Okay.
Yes, we can do that. Yes. Well, thank you all for this platform. We are so blessed and excited to be here. Thank you again. Thank you for all the hard work that you all do behind the scenes. And thank you again. I'm Nature Girl, Kim, and Nature Girl in Telegrams. If you got any questions in there, you can find me and PM me if you want, and I'll try to help you. Also, you can email Diana and I at gandalfpets@gmail.com. We answer all those emails. And first, I want to tell you why I got involved with this company. And I had seen Diana on a show, and the information sounded absolutely right on. I've been into the health scene for quite a while. Woke up a long time ago about all the junk that they are feeding us. And so I was very excited about it. And because I was diagnosed with a pituitary adenoma, and I had already had 3 MRIs, and on each one of them, it had grown. And then I started on the mushrooms in January of 24. My next MRI was in March, 2.5 months later. And it didn't grow. I was taking 10 capsules a day from mid-January to early March. And took 10 capsules every day, and it didn't grow. For an MRI, my next MRI appointment. And then 6 months later, I did it again, and still no growth. And then just in November, I had my last one, and there was still no growth. And the doctor says now, okay, now we're going to put you on I'll see you next year. So that was a good improvement. I'm continuing to take 10 a day. I'm hoping that it will shrink and go away, because it is pressing on my optic nerve, which does affect my eyesight. And if it continues to grow, it could lead to blindness. So I am pretty adamant on taking my mushrooms, and it's going to go away. Anyway, I'm ready to introduce Diana here in just a second, but we've got some Christmas and holiday information. We have a holiday flyer that Gandalf can post on his Facebook group. And it's a tough time for our animals. Lots of activities, the lights on the trees, the lights in the house, the trees in the house. They're and all the rattling paper and the extra cooking and all the rushing around. They kind of get sometimes a little freaked out, and you might not even know it. But so we offer the chill doggies for them, and it's just a combination of lion's mane mushroom and, believe it or not, catnip. And they absolutely love it. And my 50-pound dog will get a half of one if we're going to go do something extra special. And she's just like, okay, cool. Whereas before she was like, ain't no way I'm going in there and looking at those people. And oh my God, there's a dog. Now she's just okay. Anyway, Diana, you are certified in holistic pet care, CBD for pets and people, and certified in pet nutrition. And I'm going to turn it over to you.
Thank you, Kim. You know what is so amazing is when the doctor says to you, we don't need to see you for a year instead of every 6 months. That shows progress. And I keep praying for these continued results for you. But it doesn't surprise me because these are the stories that we get all the time. So I'm excited to talk about a couple things. First of all, last time we were on, we shared a do not eat list at Thanksgiving. I got the most absolute best text message I could have ever gotten from a woman who said, thank you, thank you, thank you. I saw the do not feed list and we put it up on a refrigerator. At Thanksgiving dinner, one of the uncles started to take some turkey skin to hand down to our dog. And my 8-year-old son said, Uncle Alan, didn't you see the do not feed list? He can't have that. And I just thought to myself, if we could have saved one animal because we posted that, that's worth everything. That's why if you be so kind, Gandalf, to post the Christmas do not eat and the plants, because the plants are really, really scary for some of these animals. They're so poisonous. And then the other thing that I really have a public service announcement. And it's about a new vaccine that is being pushed heavily by our veterinarians. It is called the Novivac, Nobivac, NXT. And the propaganda is like it's the greatest thing since sliced bread. It's this, it's that. It can do everything with one shot. It's rabies, it's flu, it's parvo, it's distemper. And in our cats, it's feluke, it's rabies. I mean, one shot fits all, right? Well, let's talk about this vaccine. They tested it for 14 days, a whole whopping 14 days on 38 dogs. And then they euthanized 35 of them to see if there were any long-term 14-day damage to anything internally. It is terrifying because it is a self-replicating mRNA. Now, we all know what that is, vaccine. But above and beyond that, it is an saRNA replicating vaccine, which means our pups can transfer it from their saliva to us. How many of us let our pups give us little smooches on the mouth or smooches in our skin all the time? Think about that. They can't get, maybe I shouldn't say this. If they can't get to us, they're going to get to us through our animals. It drives me crazy. Be proactive. If your vet suggests that you get this, ask some questions. It's made by Merck. I met with a holistic vet. I am not a veterinarian. I am not offering medical or veterinarian advice. But our holistic vet on record said, do not take this. Not enough known about it yet. So please, please, please. I saw a woman, as Gandalf was saying, we have a light display called the Boulder City Christmas House. And we have about 30,000 people that walk through, and there's thousands of dogs. She came through with the cutest little 15-week-old puppy yesterday. She got the vaccine. Because she said to me, oh, yeah, we just got his shots. And I went, oh, my gosh, please tell me you didn't get it. She goes, well, I'm not sure. So she pulled up the receipt and the shot was there. And let me tell you what they charged for that shot. I couldn't believe it. It was hundreds and hundreds of dollars. So again, public service announcement. Let's just be aware. I know Gandalf's got some really good information about dog vaccines and where it's all going. I'm going to offer one little word of advice. We had a guy who was pretty brilliant. he kept getting a notice from his homeowners association that he had to provide a certificate of rabies for his dogs. And he didn't want to do it. I mean, they don't need the rabies shot. And if they do have it once, it's in their system. They can get a blood test called a titer test. They don't have to get it again. And you can also get letters of exemption from veterinarians on getting the vaccines. But anyhow, he ended up writing a letter. He was getting a letter about once a week from them. He wrote a letter to them and said, I am so happy to comply with any of the rules and regulations of this homeowners association. Please sign here accepting any and all responsibility for any adverse effects for the vaccine for my dogs. Guess what? He never heard from him again. I thought that was brilliant. So today I'm going to take a few minutes and just talk about our product line, because I get a lot of emails from people saying, which product should I try for this? What should I do for this? How should we do this? And I realized that although we try to educate and teach you all a lot about our pets and our pets' health, sometimes we don't spend enough time just going over the individual products. I'm going to do it quickly. There's a lot of information. You can always replay this later. And this is going to be a great show for you to share with friends and family, especially those that have animals. So we're going to start with, what is the mushroom that we work with most? It's the Coriellus versicolor mushroom. It is a mushroom that has 400 medical studies for humans, and it also has lots of medical studies for animals. Penn State University School of Veterinarian Medicine has put it in writing. If your dog takes the Coriellus versicolor mushroom and has cancer, it will live longer and healthier. That's a direct quote. For a university to put something like that in writing, trust me, they dotted their I's and crossed their T's. So my story, Kim has her story of how she got involved. My story of how I got involved with this was that I was in the pet industry for decades. I know that our animals are dying early. I know that 50% of our animals are dying from cancer, and I know that we have to do something different. I know that the pet food industry is atrocious. 95% of our foods are made by the 3 biggest candy companies for our dogs. Think about that. The byproducts that they're putting in our animals' food is disgusting. Roadkill, slaughterhouse meat not fit for human consumption, dead, dying, diseased, decaying animals. It should be illegal, but it's not. And the pet industry is not that governed. Not that we're all for more government, but they're not that regulated. So this mushroom does not cure. It does not heal. It does not treat. What it does, mushrooms are pretty amazing. We share quite a bit of the same DNA with mushrooms. And mushrooms have an immune system. They have a communication system. They are actually the mycelium network. And we deep dived a while back on this, and we'll do it again in the future. It's pretty freaking amazing. So it's just a simplistic mushroom called the Coriellus versicolor mushroom, but it has to be harvested at the right time for it to have the efficacy and the potency that it needs. So we offer it in a few products for our dogs. We offer it in Mush Puppies and Mush Puppies Plus. And this is just a little biscuit with additional naturally sourced glucosamine, chondroitin, and keratin. And what does it do? It just supports the immune system. When I got involved in this company and started working with it, shortly thereafter, I was diagnosed with colon cancer. And as much as I don't like to talk about this, every time I talk about it on any podcast, I get a call or I get an email from somebody who, from some divine intervention, tuned in that day or saw it by accident, or someone forwarded it, and they either had just been diagnosed or they know someone who they love that has been. So my story, as repetitive as it is, I think it's still important to share. February 2020, I got colon cancer. And I was told during pandemic that I could not be operated on to remove a tumor that could explode and kill me in my colon, because a board had to wait 30 days to decide whether I was worthy of the surgery. During that 30 days, I had nothing in my toolbox except my faith and the Coriellus versicolor mushroom. I took 10 a day of the green bottle, which is the Enforce. It's a capsule that you can open. I put it into my morning coffee and my afternoon tea. I think I invented mushroom coffee back in 2020, but we'll go forward from there. And literally 30 days later, I got the call that I had been approved for surgery. Went into the hospital, had to go through 3 police checkpoints. Everybody was in hazmat suits. The place looked like a morgue. It was terrifying. It was like the movie Outbreak. I mean, plastic everywhere and cordoned off areas. It was kind of frightening. Had my blood work, went home. 14 hours later, got a call that I needed to go on to an emergency video conference with the oncology department. And there was my doctor, all smiles. And he's a good guy. And he says, Diana, what are you doing? And I just thought that was so bizarre. What do you mean, what am I doing? I'm like hoping this tumor doesn't explode. I'm packing a suitcase to go to the hospital. What do you mean? He said, hon, you're in remission. So, I had never had cancer. I didn't really know anyone that ever had cancer. And what does that mean? I know those words were good words. We hear it all the time. Oh, she's doing pretty good. She's in remission. Well, what does that mean? Well, it basically means that the progression had stopped and that things actually could be reversing. In my case, the CEA number was off the charts when it should have been 2.5. That day, I was 0.05. Think about that. 2.5, I was 0.05. He repeated again, what are you doing? And I said, I'm taking the Coriolis versicolor mushroom. And I'll never forget the perplexed look on his face. And he kind of smiled a little. And he goes, well, I don't know anything about it. Send me everything you have. Don't stop doing what you're doing, which I appreciated that immensely. But it broke my heart that a man, an oncologist, doesn't know about a mushroom with 400 medical studies, as well as the #1 protocol in other countries for cancer. He has since learned a lot, and we have become very, very good buds, and we're going to be doing something together when he retires soon. But that was heartbreaking that he didn't know about this. I went through the surgery. I took 10 a day of the Inforce in the green bottle. Now, why did I take it? I took this. Oh no! How many did it take a needle? Oh no. I opened this up and put it in my coffee and tea. Why did I take 10? Normal dose is 1 per 50 pounds. I was 150 pounds. 3 would have been regular. I tripled up. I wanted my immune system to be slapped into submission. I wanted my immune system to be given all the support it could be given. Obviously, it had been compromised. After the surgery, I came through beautifully. I mean, they were blown away. Normally, it's 36 hours at least in the hospital. I was in and out in 18 hours. Had part of my colon removed. Came home and literally was perfect. I mean, like nothing had ever happened. I healed quickly. But they felt that I should do chemo, which I had adamantly said no until I read reports. First of all, the type of cancer I had, 40% reoccurrence rate without chemo, 10% reoccurrence rate with chemo. I didn't want that. I didn't want to take that risk. Plus, I had seen a study from Sloan Kettering about how the Coriolis versicolor mushroom complements chemotherapy. And that was my, okay, I'm doing this. 6 months of hard chemo, my hair did not fall out. I did not throw up. I did not look like a cancer patient. I had bad days. I'm not going to say it was all butterflies and unicorns. There were some real bad days, but most of it was pretty good. At the end, this is what's amazing. At the end of 6 months of hard chemo, I literally had better blood work than I had started with. I had better bone density than I had started with. I was osteoporosis when I started chemo. I know that chemotherapy can destroy your bone density, so I was terrified about that. I came out no longer osteoporosis. So why? Because as my body was literally being, ravaged and destroyed by chemotherapy, my body was repairing, replenishing, rebuilding as fast as it was being attacked. And it actually kept up with it. So most people come through chemo and then they need the next couple years to rebuild and repair. I was already rebuilt and repaired. And to me, I have to say, I am so thankful to God that this happened for me, so I could use this big mouth that I used to get report cards that said talk too much. I could use this mouth to tell people about this. And, my doctor was so supportive during this. And one of the things he taught me is do not ask for permission from your doctor for anything. Don't ask for permission. Just tell them what you're going to do. And he said, say to your doctor, hey, doc, I'm going to take the Coriolis versicolor mushroom out of respect. They should know what you're taking, but don't ask for permission. They can't give it to you. And then say there's 400
So
medical.
wait. I want you to say that from a different angle, okay? Because you are courageous. Kim is courageous, and so you. Let me say this from a different angle, and I might offend some people here. If you take your sick animal to the vet, and they say, you know what, you should just put that animal down. That animal is in so much suffering. You know, it's got this, it's got cat leukemia, it's got dog cancer, it's got horse colic. Well, what you did, Diana, because I've heard you tell this story before. So this Medbezco guy, oh wait, that's me. So what I just heard you say is that you don't have to divorce your physician to do this, because not everyone has your courage or Kim's courage. You have to stand up to Western. I believe that all of Western medicine is a lie. And I come from a family of physicians, and I could have been a doctor if I just wanted to stay in school. That's not, but I play a doctor on my show. So how do you, what is the thing you do when the doctor who is in a white coat that has been an authority your entire life, whether it's a vet or a physician or whoever, how do you handle that? Because, you know, your little guilt inside of you, the doctor says, well, what are you doing? Well, you got approached with this with a yay, rah.
Yeah.
But that's after you did it. So what strategy would you coach people to do when the doctor says, because what I want to say this out loud before I hand this back to Diana. Every single physician, they're not bad guys. They have just been trained that they can't say anything about this product because they'll become liable. Oh, I got 2 finger points. I ain't got one of those in 6 months today.
No, you are 100%.
Yeah, the physician is afraid.
Yes.
So what's the strategy that you would give people in your position to tell their doctors, because no one wants to divorce their doctor or their tax attorney or their banker, all the important people. What would you coach people to say? And is there a buying bundle?
The words actually aren't from me. They're from my doctor. He told me what to say. He told me I lost a good girlfriend because she went to her doctor and said, may I take these? And the doctor took them from her, didn't look at him, sat him down and said, no, she died. She died from lung cancer. And I was so angry with her, but my doctor told me the exact words. First of all, a doctor cannot tell you to take anything that is not in their purview. They cannot tell you to eat a bologna sandwich. They will lose their license. They could get thrown out of their little practice that they're in. They could be brought up on medical fraud charges. I mean, all kinds of bad things can happen. But you have to be your own advocate. And you just said that brilliantly. When we're looking at the white coat, we got to remember they only know what they've been taught. And we have to be our own advocate. We have to take the responsibility for it. So my doctor's exact words were, say to your doctor, I am taking this. Here's where you can find 400 studies, mushroomstudies.co. If you have any problems with me taking it, please get back to me. A good doctor may go and do some research. Most won't. But you're off the hook and you've taken control. It's our body. We have to be our own best advocate. And again, it's nothing more than a whole food. That's all it is. So why wouldn't we be able to take it? And I love the fact that my doctor is actually about 1.5 years away from retirement, and he wants to start doing some holistic cancer care and working together with me. I was very blessed to have gotten one of the best oncologists I could have gotten, because he worked with me. And every time I would go in for my appointment, he would say, "You still taking your shrooms?" And he'd wink at me. It was so funny, because he knew what they were doing for me, and he knew how well my numbers looked and how good I came through this. So yeah, we have, and same with our animals. You know, unless an animal is in pain or suffering, and the pain and suffering is not able to be controlled or fixed, like, you know, through some CBD or through some things like that, then there's a different story about it when they say put the animal down. Zenta, a dog that we worked with, he was 16 when we met Zenta. She was told to go home and and be put down. They said, she's done. We can't do anything for her. Her paw pads were peeling off. Her hair was coming out. You couldn't even touch her. She was in so much pain. And we started her on our mush ponies because she was quite large. And Zenta, within about 3 months, was a whole new dog. Zenta lived 4 more years. She lived until she was 20. She did not just live. She was hiking 5 miles a day. She actually died in a really tragic accident. But up until that day, Zenta was living the ultimate life because her body was working properly. So, you know, the same thing can happen for our animals. You know, we hear about dogs with cancer all the time. The studies from Penn State University are irrefutable about what this can do for cancer. So we also have the super sauce, which is for the littler dogs, maybe the dogs that don't have any teeth. It's a handmade gravy. It has the wonderful glucosamine, chondroitin, and keratin added to it for movement, for joints, for hips, and it's also for kitty cats. Casey was talking. Oh, this is Kit was talking about her dog with cataracts, and there's another podcaster out there who's got a dog who was going blind quickly, really quickly. It was tragic, and so we really upped the Coriellus versicolor for this dog. He did a few other things too to help naturally, better food, started making food, doing a lot of things. Like, a lot of things work together. I believe throw everything at it you can when you have something catastrophic. But the dog, he sent me a video the other day where he had thrown a ball up in the air and the dog jumped up and caught it, which means that his sight is coming back. We hear this a lot of times about cataracts, you know, stopping their progression. Got a good story. I had cataracts in both eyes. The left eye was the worst, and the right eye was not so bad. But they couldn't operate on me because I was on chemo. Once I was done with chemo, a year later, you had to wait a year. I went in, and the doctor said, you know, it's really odd. Your cataracts haven't progressed. They haven't moved, and that just doesn't happen. Well, I know why, because this mushrooms, you know, supporting the immune system. So we also have like treats and things that are really fun for the dogs. This is freeze-dried liver, and it's really good for energy. It's also, we have chickens on it. We have cats on it. We have a long-distance human runner who puts these in his pocket.
Hey, Diana. Hey, Diana. Yeah. Can I say something before you keep going online? Yeah. So this is a real fact. And those that know me know that I am a purveyor of research. This is a real truth statement. As humans, not pets, as humans, we share 83% of our DNA with the Coriellus versicolor mushroom.
Yeah,
83%. So it's crazy. So when you ingest this, which Diana did at 10 pills a day on the rate, while she was having a health crisis, you know, a health crisis. I'm not talking about the big C. I'm talking about GERD. I'm talking about GERD is gastrointestinal reflux disorder. Yes. I'm talking about so all of these things. Will you hold up the bottle of that magic 10 a day pill thing, please, Diana? I love your copper mug. Oh, I'm so jealous of your copper mug. That thing right there, Diana has in her hand.
It's got mushrooms on it. It's got mushrooms on
it. Look, this is about the electricity of the engagement of you. So hold that bottle back up, Diana, please. So if you are heading into the Christmas season, you're heading into Christmas season and you feel like crap because this is the sugar eating season, and sugar is the exact opposite of that product in Diana's hand. So if you buy yourself a Christmas present, shameless plug, go to GandalphPets.com and or ask a question. If you take 10 of these a day, buy yourself a Christmas present, buy 3 months supply and consume it in 2 months or 1 month, future you will thank you.
And you don't even have to take
girl
10.
Kim.
Yeah, you don't even have to take 10 a day. It's 1 per 50 pounds of body weight. However, if you're dealing with something catastrophic, double up, triple up if the budget will allow. I'd rather see somebody take a little bit than none. 10 a day for me. Kim, you were taking what, 10 or 15 a day?
I started out taking 8 a day, and
Okay.
now I've boosted it up to 10.
Yeah. Well, you're in that critical stage of, but yeah. So, and what you just said, Gandalf, is so true. We are going to be around a lot of people. We're going to be around a lot of people that are sniffling, sneezing, all of that. Even if you feel fantastic, your immune system needs extra support during this time of year. And we were just talking about that with someone this morning about the kids. These kids, it's an exciting time for them, but we have a kids product that's a gummy. Oh my gosh, it tastes amazing. It's the first gummy that I know of that doesn't have corn syrup in it. We worked really hard to get all natural ingredients in this. We did put a tiny bit of organic cane sugar to keep them from sticking together. And then we also have cookies for the kids. So what a better thing that a grandparent can do? Buy the gift of immune support for your kiddos. One of my best stories out there is a little boy who was 3, and this is tragic. He woke up every morning with the crustiest little nose. They'd have to put warm compresses on his nose to peel away all the snot and stuff. And I'm sorry to be so graphic. And he went to stay at his grandmother's, and they were going to be going back to the doctor the following Wednesday to start the 3-year-old on a statin. And the grandmother was an angry mama bear, but she couldn't talk her daughter out of it. They'd done every test known to man. They couldn't get this little baby to not have this situation. So she opened a Coriolis versicolor capsule and put it in his little warm mouth. Yeah, it's a booger story. It really is. Put it in his warm milk smoothie. He woke up the next morning completely clear. And the grandmother was like, this has to be a fluke. The next night, same thing. It's Friday night, Saturday night, Sunday night. Woke up completely clear. So when the mother came in and the grandma said to her, I have to ask for forgiveness instead of permission, but I gave something to my grandson, and I probably shouldn't have done it without asking you, but I knew you would say no. The daughter wasn't happy, but not happy. And this little boy, it's 2 years later, is not on statins. So, there is it's just such an amazing, simplistic thing. But along with that mushroom, we have complementary mushrooms. So we've also added a mushroom called the reishi mushroom. I love this one. Patricia, let's read this one. I am the one that had the 25 lesions on my brain that are no longer there. Yes, I am taking mushrooms. My blood work has been great. Patricia, it's stories like this that warm my heart, but they also just tell us that this mission that we're on, is so important, because if there's one person, one kid with a snotty booger nose, one person out there with a brain lesion, one person with an optic nerve threatening her sight that we can help, and animals the same way. So the reishi mushroom is such an incredible mushroom because this mushroom actually will help with blood pressure and cholesterol support. And this is an either or. You either take the green bottle or the yellow bottle, but you don't take this if you're on blood thinners, because it does have a little bit of thinning capability of the blood. So if you're on aspirin therapy, ditch the aspirin, and this will be great. Talk to your cardiologist first. I have to say that. So it's an either or. It's either you're going to take the green bottle or the yellow bottle. Then we have complementary mushrooms. We have the lion's mane. Yes, amazing things happen in 2024. the American Medical Association actually linked the brain to the immune system. Until then, they always felt like, oh, the brain has nothing to do with the immune system, which, that makes no sense, but that's what they said. And it wasn't until then that they actually linked the two together. So a lot of things have come about for Parkinson's, for neuropathy, for Alzheimer's, for seizures. So the immune system being supported by the Coriellus versicolor mushroom, and then adding the lion's mane mushroom. Google the lion's mane mushroom. You want to be impressed by some of the things you will see of what this has done. We have a gentleman in Hawaii with Parkinson's. It has been progressing for years. And just like Kim's story, it has stopped progressing for the past 4 years. It has not regressed, but it's stopped progressing. And that's really, really, really important. So we're excited about that. And then we have Shield, which is the maitake mushroom, which is great for us to be able to keep our viral support in check. And then Restore. This is a fun product. It's liver and pancreas support. Someone who's been on a lot of medication, your liver has taken a real big hit. This can help with that. When I got done with chemo, one of the test results showed that I had a small spot that was appearing on my liver. And the doctor said, well, you've been through so much the last year. We're just going to wait 3 months. Well, I'm sorry. As we talked earlier, I'm my own best advocate, and I have to take personal responsibility. I started on this immediately. Within 3 months, I went back in for MRIs and testing, and they were like, what spot? It's gone. So there you go. So that's our human line, as well as our body balm, which is an outside-in product that actually can help with the paw pads on a dog, the noses, hot spots. We have a little girl who had the worst acne I've ever seen. It's hard enough to be a teenager, let alone be a teenager. She has some disabilities and challenges with hot, angry, horrible-looking acne. I mean, it just breaks your heart. So her mom put this on her face, and the next morning her mom called me and said that when her daughter woke up, she said, Mommy, my face doesn't hurt. Every morning when she woke up.
So wait. Let me give you a testimonial here, Diana. So I don't really bruise, and I'm pretty tough, but I got on the wrong side of an equine in a closed space. What, probably is it 10 days ago, Durendal, when I told you I hurt my foot. And I have a gimpy left foot. I was a 6-week premature baby. I could not pass the physical to be in the armed forces, or I would be a legacy. But I had this really injured left foot, and it was infecting, and it was swelling, and I took a gross amount of that compound, and I spread it all over my foot after I had doused my foot in pine oil. And the next morning, I had a presenting bubble, which was a big, yucky filled bubble. I drained it. I doused everything in pine oil. I covered it again in that exact compound you have in your hand. And Lucinda wanted me to go to the freaking hospital, which will never happen unless I am sedated. I do not do Western medicine. I just don't. So the next morning, my foot pain was down 85%. And 3 days later, I had a massive scab on my left foot. So my foot was not broken. I had an infection because I got tagged by a mule in a stall. My girl Sally is 1,200 pounds, and I don't think she did it on purpose, but I didn't have the right shoes on. It was my fault. Anyway, I fixed what should have been a broken foot with a combination of pine oil and that mushroom compound. It's not a tincture. It's not liquid enough. That shit works. Lucinda had a spot on her back, which has been a mid-bra kind of, skin tag that used to give her a lot of trouble. And I put that on that skin tag. It was a bump for about 4 or 5 days, and it came off like taking off a Band-Aid. And she's been battling it for 20 years. 20 years she's been battling that. So
it's a combination.
This is maybe
Yeah,
Look,
it's a combination, but it's the reishi mushroom. And I mean, I use it. This is all I use on my face. I don't put anything else on my skin. And I love that we can use something that's all natural and organic, and something that all comes from the earth. God made everything perfectly for us. We just have forgot to use them. I remember when I was a younger girl asking my mother. I said, "Mom, did you breastfeed me?" She goes, "Oh, no, no, no. That was for poor people." And how sad that they had convinced a whole generation to go with synthetic milk instead of this beautiful body that produces milk for our babies. The same thing has happened with all of our facial products and things that we use, is that we've gone by the way of nature and gone to the way of synthetics. Therefore, my whole reason as to why Big Pharma doesn't like what we're doing, because they can't patent it because it's from nature, and they can't synthesize it, meaning they can't make it. So therefore, they can't make money on it. So it's just it makes a lot of sense. So I'm just going to end up with a couple things. Coffee. Oh my gosh, coffee, coffee, coffee. You know that we're the only country that accepts rejected coffee beans from other countries. Are you kidding me? I'm a coffee snob. I've always loved good coffee, but it took me a long time to really understand what is good coffee. Coffee is really a superfood if it's good coffee. Most of the coffees, and if you Google this and look at the statistics, contain rocks, bugs, pesticides, dirt, sticks, stones, everything that you can imagine bad in it. Most coffees that you find in the big box stores or in the grocery stores have been sitting on a shelf since they were roasted, somewhere between 2 months and 2 years. So our coffee, and I've got the blueberry cinnamon crumble, smells so good in front of me. It's all 100% vegan. It's 100% natural. It's OCIA certified organic. That's important. And it's kosher, as well as SQF level 2 certified, which is an international certification. It also has the Coriellus versicolor mushroom in it. So you're not only getting the superfood, but you're also getting the mushroom also. Yes, it's a little pricey, but I would rather have 1 or 2 great cups of coffee than to put the number one chemical that we intake into our body, i.e. coffee, in my body with 4 or 5 cups. And then, we're going into the holiday season. This is a great time to gift your animals a little stocking stuffer or something, or people. And Gandalf said it properly. Why not put this in someone's stocking? Instead of, cupcakes, cookies, candy, why not give them the gift of health? And for our dogs and cats, let's give them some antlers for mineral support, and not from the big box store. Those have been bleached. They have, in many cases, they have been painted. They have been made to look more appealing to humans. Rawhide. If you even had a clue of what they do to get rawhide, and then they glue it or formaldehyde it or paint it with shoe polish, it should not be in anywhere near your animal. This is a really good picture. I don't know if you're going to be able to see it, but this is a picture of a bone in the stomach of a dog. Also, look at all of this stuffing from a toy. And I bet this thing right here is probably the squeaker. Our animals are given these cheap, crappy toys. Most of them come from out of the country. And everybody thinks it's so cute. They get the squeaker out of it. They swallow the squeaker. It can kill them. They swallow the bone. It leaches poisons into their body. They don't need this. We have all natural hemp rope that they love. And if they eat it and digest it, it just goes right into their stomach and it digests and it's fine. For our little kitty cats, this is the cutest little thing ever. It's called a nipster. And no, they will not eat the bell. They cannot get the bell off. We have tested this on thousands of cats. But it comes in a bag of catnip. So you can put it back in the bag, shake it up, and replenish it. And it provides the cat with tons of entertainment as well as you, because it's really fun to watch. And yeah. And then also we have mineral support for our animals with Bucky Bites. Our nutrition program is amazing. Yes, I believe in feeding raw. Yes, I believe in making our own food. But the likelihood that most people are going to do that is, most people are not going to do that. So if you have to go with a kibble, I do tell you to do one thing. Take your kibble, drop it in a cup of water, Go back in a half hour and see what the kibble has done. If the kibble has expanded, it's because it's loaded with fillers, and that's exactly what it does in the dog's body after they have eaten it and chugged water to hydrate. It literally will stretch their stomach and cause lots of problems. So make sure you're feeding a good kibble. I will be happy to do an analysis on any food that you're feeding. Just send me an email with a picture of the front. Make sure I can read it. At gandalphpets@gmail.com, and I will be happy to do an analysis. Many of you are feeding a decent food, and sometimes you're feeding a okay food, but in that same food line, there's a better one, and I can at least guide you in that direction for your animals. But we appreciate this platform. We appreciate all that you guys do. Gandalf, I will tell you, I've enjoyed our conversations. You are just a wealth of information. But what I want to ask the community is to support Gandalf Pets. We can go support the big box stores. We can support Amazon. But what are they doing for you? Nothing. Look at what Gandalf and his crew, all of these people, Bird and Casey and Hercules and Nature Girl, they're out there, teaching you, educating you, having your back, teaching you. So again, it just please go to the website, take a look at what we have. It's the giving season. Let's give back to these wonderful podcasters who work so hard and tirelessly to help us be better people in a lot of ways. So I'm going to turn it back over to Kim, and Kim's going to close out.
Can I just ask you something really quick? So you say you've done some analysis on some foods.
Yeah.
Are there any?
I was just about to call you. I saw your sewing machine.
Are there any that raised such a red flag that you could name here?
Oh my gosh!
Please.
I unfortunately I can't name them because I don't want to lose my house over it and be sued. I can tell you. I'll tell you what good food. Do you know that Costco has a 5-star food?
Which one?
Costco? You're kidding. It's a 5-star food. So there are some good foods out there. There's a documentary called Pet Food, so I can quote this. The #1 recalled food in the nation is Science Diet. Who recommends Science Diet?
Every vet.
Veterinarian. Why do they do that? Well, first of all, Science Diet classified it as a medicine, so they can sell it without having to have this retail thing. And they have a wonderful tuition reimbursement program. So I can say that because that's part of the documentary Pet Food. The #1 selling food in the nation is Old Roy from Walmart. And it is the #2 recalled food in the nation. So think about that. It's
okay, wait, Diane. Wait. I'm going to save you verbiage here. Will you please, because we're a positive message show, what is the test for a food? It involves 4 pieces and a bowl of water, and you watch the expansion rate. Will you talk about that test for a moment?
Drop it in water. Drop a piece. It's not a test to tell you it's a great food. It's a test to tell you that there's not too many fillers in it. So you drop a piece of kibble in the water and watch what happens to it over a half hour. If it just sits there, or it just sinks, or it just doesn't do anything, doesn't have a lot of fillers. If it starts to expand and implode and come apart, then you know that you are loaded with fillers, and that's not good for our animals. But I encourage everybody to watch the documentary Pet Food, FOOLED. What an incredible documentary. It was done about 13 years ago, but the woman who did the documentary was just interviewed recently. And she said, I was asked to remake it. There would be nothing that has changed. And that broke my heart. It's still the same situation. It's still the same issues that we had before. Animal byproducts, meat for slaughterhouse use, meat not fit for human consumption, meat that's sold, formaldehyde in food. Some of this stuff, cardboard that is in our dog's food, because it's a very, very lowly regulated industry. It's atrocious. And again, if anybody wants a great recipe to make their own food, we were talking earlier how almost everybody here makes their own food. Please email me at gandalphpets@gmail.com, and I will send you a phenomenal, easy recipe that you can try yourself. But again, we understand not everybody's going to be able to do that. Some people, and honestly, it's even less expensive than buying kibble. And the other thing about kibble, make sure that you are comparing apples to apples. I know our kibble, sometimes people will say, oh, the Sequoia brand, which is this brand right here, it's a little pricey, right? Well, once you do a apples to apples and look at the feeding schedule, our kibble, you feed so much less of it. Well, what does less kibble mean? Less poop. That's one thing, but also you get more bang for your buck, as well as we've added taurine, and we've also added prebiotics and probiotics to the food. So yeah, just drop your kibble in some water and watch it and see what happens. And that's what's happening in their little bellies.
Can you name which 5-star was the one that you found at Costco?
Oh, every Costco food, the Kirkland brand, except the weight management. The weight management food is only a 3-star, but all of the Kirkland brand foods, and they're affordable. They're very affordable.
What was it about the weight management one that was that brought it down 2 points?
I can't remember. I'd have to go back and look at the notes. I think it was the corn, but I don't remember for sure. I'll see if I can look that up for you. But the weight management was the only one that was a 3.5 food. The rest of them were 5-star foods. And I've had people say to me, "Oh, I'm embarrassed to say I feed my dog Costco food," and I'm like, "Don't be embarrassed. It's a good food, right?" I'd rather see that than the veterinarian recommended I feed Science Diet, right?
Well, because the Costco food is actually what my daughter
so there's
feeds
a huge fallacy.
Go ahead.
There's a huge fallacy that table scraps are not good for dogs. Okay, yeah, there's a graphic that BirdLove has that is the stuff you shouldn't feed your dogs. But it's a white list, not a black list. Okay. So, and the reason, then the way I'm going to back up this is with a very simple statement. Before the big 3 dog food manufacturers existed about 100 years ago, roughly, Mars Foods is at the base of it, in Bayer. Before that, for the 5,000 years, the first domesticated dog is out of Asia 5,000 years ago by my records. For 5,000 years, kibble did not exist.
Yeah.
Dogs lived on shit they caught in the yard, a boll weevil, a squirrel, a rat. They ate raw food that was caught and chased down. All of the little...
I'm sorry, buddy. I'm so sorry.
Yeah. What else too?
All the little.
Before we domesticated them,
go ahead,
we brought them into our home, and then we decided what they would eat. And if they were out in the wild running rampant, first thing they would go to after a kill is the organ meat. They'd go right for the organ meat. That's what they do. But they also would chew on the carcasses. They would be eating tree bark. They'd be eating dirt for the minerals. I mean, they know what they need. Unfortunately, when they're at our mercy to give them what they need, we go for the pretty box with the vegetables flowing down on the label.
So we talked about this in the prayer before the show. That we may be treated by our Almighty, we're in the Christ season, the Christmas season, that we may be treated by the Almighty better than we treat our pets. And I'm talking after they buy the Christmas bundle from GandalphPets.com, shameless plug. My point is that you need to redesign the way that you approach what you're doing this season. Make a rationalization. Some people say that rationalizations are more important than sex. Well, if you go a week without a rationalization, I doubt it. So, what are you rationalizing in your own diet, in your dog's diet season about their own health and their pet's health? And that's what we're trying to do here today. I'm not making this a total buy our shit show. But I'm telling you, your life as a shit show will change if you buy some of this shit.
Well, yeah, and we're supporting, and look at who we're supporting. I mean, we're supporting, the cabal and we're supporting the businesses that aren't doing right by our animals, that aren't, look at this Merck vaccine. And I know, again, if you're going to move into this a little bit, I mean, this vaccine is hundreds and hundreds of dollars. It's a one shot fixes all. My dad used to say, when you buy something, it should only do one thing. Because if it does more than one thing, then now you have two things to go wrong. Well, I always lived by that. This shot fixes everything. I'm sorry, it scares me. And I think that we all need to be proactive. And I know, Gandalf, you're going to talk a little bit more about that. But Kim, I think you're going to close out with what we have left, and then we'll turn it back over.
Yes. First, I'd like to clarify. You said that the little snotty boy was going to be put on statins. Don't you mean
steroids? Steroids. Thank you for that. Yes. Thank you for catching that. Yes, it was steroids. Yes.
Yes.
Could you imagine a 3-year-old being put on steroids? Oh my gosh.
Wow. Yeah.
Well, I definitely couldn't imagine a 3-year-old being put on statins.
Yeah, I was like, thank you for catching that. I do appreciate that. You got my back.
Yeah.
So you got cholesterol dripping out his nose.
Right.
Don't know where that came from.
Is that a tallow nose? Is that a tallow nose? Is that what that is?
And I wanted to bring up something really quick that Gandalf mentioned. You're talking about, the Mars company. So the Mars conglomerate, right, has taken over a lot of the veterinary medicine care, hospitalization, and so forth. And so I just really want to warn people to, before you take your beloved into one of these places, please do some research.
Yes.
And find out who's the big money behind the name, and try to find a vet that is a local owned, operated. I'm not saying they're going to be better, and sometimes you just can't get away from going to the big name because they offer, other things that maybe the small doc doesn't offer, like the MRIs and the CT scans and such. But just to be cautious of where you take your beloved animals to these days, because they really are just they're not really looking out for your animals or your sanity and health. They're looking out for the dollar.
And there is a tremendous movement in the veterinarian world for holistic pet care. So if you can start, just go on to Facebook and ask your local communities, who knows of a good holistic vet in our area? These holistic vets are usually less expensive. And of course, their first go-to is not medication, and they're not beholden to anyone. And they are in this for a completely different reason. I love working with holistic vets. A lot of them are working with mushroom therapy and are excited to do so for the animals. I had a veterinarian send a dog to me the other day, a Labrador, big lymphomas all over the poor little thing's body. And he was 13, and she just didn't feel that surgery was an option or even necessary. So we started this baby on mush ponies, and it's been about maybe 3-4 weeks. And the owner, is measuring and looking, and she's feeling like some of these lymphomas are a little softer now, but it's going to be exciting to see how the body starts to repair and break them down. I'm excited, but she did say the dog is moving better. The eyes have cleared up, that she feels like we're making some progress. So, we know that they're not going to live forever, but why not give them the best life we can while they're with us, right?
100%.
Exactly. Yeah. Exactly. Well, I don't have much more. I just want to kind of close out and say that this is such a blessing for me to be able to help pass this information along. And every pet, every parent, every day is our motto, and we want to disrupt the pet industry, and I think we are. And the pet industry is quadrupling in sales compared to some other things. It's one of the top things. And we want to take the money that has been directed towards the big pharma and put it back into the pockets of the people. And we are looking for people that want to also share the word, and be a voice for the animals and the people too. So if anybody's interested, you can reach out to us at gandalfpets.com, or that's the website, gandalfpets@gmail.com. And let us know that you might be interested in an affiliate program, or if you know of a podcaster or something that would like to have us on to share our information with their audience, send us an email, let us know. And that's really all I have. Thank
I want
you.
everybody to have a very happy holiday season and going into New Year's and Christmas. We got a lot to be thankful for.
Yep. And did
So
anybody
one of
have
the reasons that Diana and Kim are on the show is because I like them, because this is my show. And people that I don't like don't get on my show.
Well, we like you
I know
too.
that sounds very authoritarian of me, but well, I thank you. I appreciate that. We make an excellent self-admiration society. So what we're going to show next here, and I know we have short time from Diane and Kim. I hope you stick around through this process. But what we're going to show next year is not a cure, heal, or treat response to what we've talked about thus far. We're just going to go through the facts about how we got to start vaccinating our pets. That's it. We're just going to talk about the facts. And Cassie, if you're in the queue there, I'm going to need some reading help here in a second.
Right here, sir.
Hopefully my screen responds. This is the face of vaccinated animals. Harlan Steele, James Harlan Steele, the father of veterinary public health. Now, this article is from the Texas State Historical Association. We're actually going to be reading from the CDC. The CDC. Now, he's been a game player a long time. So we talk about, why do my pets need to be vaccinated? Here of the massively great thing that is pet vaccination, according to the Center for Disease Control. Because we know they're trustworthy, right?
Oh, we always know they're trustworthy. At least they have been since RFK Jr. took over. So anyway, Mr. James Steele, he passed away in 2013 in Houston at the age of 100. James Steele was an extraordinary man. All the dimensions of his life were on a grand scale. He was larger than life in so many ways. His vision, his leadership, his accomplishments in public health, his worldwide friendships, his mentorship of scores of young acolytes who came into within his orbit. His extraordinary memory, his bear hugs, and his longevity were all manifestations of his boundless enthusiasm for life. Now, Dr. Steele's professional career spanned more than 70 years, beginning in 1938, when he worked in a brucellosis testing laboratory for the Michigan State Department of Agriculture while studying veterinary medicine at Michigan State University. Now, brucellosis developed in many of his veterinarian colleagues, and he wanted to learn how the causative pathogen and other pathogens were transmitted from animals to humans. This was the beginning of his lifelong vocation of studying and controlling zoonotic diseases. New word. In 1941, Dr. Steele received a doctorate of veterinary science from Michigan State University, and in 1942, he earned a master's of public health degree from Harvard University. In 1943, he was commissioned as a sanitarian in the Public Health Service. He spent most of World War II in Puerto Rico and the Virgin Islands, where he coordinated milk and food sanitation programs, evaluated zoonotic threats to the islands, and conducted research on brucellosis, bovine tuberculosis, rabies, and Venezuelan equine encephalitis. After the war, Dr. Steele's encounters with Assistant Surgeon General Joseph Montine, the legendary founder of the Communicable Disease Center, now named Centers for Disease Control and Prevention, CDC, changed his career. Dr. Steele was fond of telling how Dr. Monton challenged him by saying, "What are you veterinarians going to do now that the war is over?" In response, Dr. Steele described some of the known zoonotic diseases, and Dr. Moulton asked questions about their prevalence and control. Dr. Steele's main response was, "We don't have any data, nor do we know how to control these zoonoses." In the end, Dr. Montaigne said, "Steele, it is quite apparent that we have a problem and a lot of ignorance. Let us exploit it." Thus, in 1945, Dr. Steele produced a detailed report called Veterinary Public Health, which outlined the risks posed by zoonotic diseases and the benefits of employing veterinarians for research and response efforts. Dr. Montaigne and Surgeon General Thomas Perrin were impressed by the scope of the report, and in 1947, Dr. Steele convinced the Surgeon General to establish a veterinarian medical officer category in the PHS. He entered this service category and became the PHS Chief Veterinarian Officer. When he retired from the PHS Commission Corps in 1971, Dr. Steele was an Assistant Surgeon General, the first veterinarian to achieve this rank. Dr. Steele came to the CDC in 1947, just after its beginning. There was no roadmap for the work he did. He was a pioneer, creating CDC's veterinary public health program. Much of his work was focused on rabies eradication. He and his team improved the existing vaccine, and he then worked towards eliminating the disease in dogs and cats in the United States and other countries. He also worked on other diseases that threaten humans and animals, including bovine tuberculosis and brucellosis, Q fever, psittacosis, salmonellosis, and other foodborne diseases and avian influenza. Dr. Steele also pioneered the integration of veterinary and public health into the Pan American Health Organization and the World Health Organization in 1950. He attended the first WHO expert committee meeting, and in 1965, he chaired the second meeting. These meetings brought together the most eminent experts in the world of zoonotic diseases and emphasized the need for international collaboration and common goals. Jim Steele worked closely with PAOHA and WHO throughout his career. Dr. Steele enjoyed a good relationship with Dr. Alexander Langmuir, who founded CDC's Epidemic Intelligence Service training program in 1951. In 1953, Dr. Langmuir asked Dr. Steele to recruit veterinarians to work in an epidemiologic areas, animal and non-animal diseases, of the EIS program. This was the beginning of a new sphere of opportunity for veterinarians and public health. Today, veterinarians are integrated into all areas of public health safety activity. When he retired from PHS in 1971, Dr. Steele became a professor at the University of Texas School of Public Health. He was an active teacher, writer, and mentor. He compiled the CRC Handbook series in Zoonosis, the first comprehensive collection addressing diseases shared by humans and animals. The book remains a staple of public health curricula throughout the world. Dr. Steele received numerous awards during his career. Among them are the American Public Health Associates Bronfman Prize, the American Veterinary Medical Association's International Veterinarian Congress Prize, the Surgeon General's Medallion, the PAHO of Abraham Horowitz Award for Excellence in Leadership and Inter-American Health, the OIE Medal of Merit, and many more. In addition, the University of Texas School of Public Health holds an annual James Steele Lecture, and a James H. Steele Veterinarian Public Health Award is given annually at CDC EIS conference. The message of the One Health Initiative is that human health and animal health are inextricably linked. We cannot have good public health unless we have good animal health, and we cannot have good animal health unless we have good public health. Jim Steele was the father of the One Health Initiative. He didn't merely profess this concept, he practiced it for 7 decades, and he taught it to younger generations of veterinarians. Jim Steele had an extraordinary capacity for mentoring young health professionals and sustaining lifelong relationships. Lewis Thomas, the physician philosopher who wrote about so many aspects of life, said that the highest state of life is to be useful, to be engaged in purposeful activity with your fellow men. By this measure, Jim Steele was a rich man, not in material wealth, which is ephemeral, but in his relationships with other human beings, which are enduring. Jim Steele has left a legacy in which millions of persons have been granted healthier lives. The world is a better place because Jim Steele lived and served humanity.
Cassie, way to rock the reading. Great job.
Yeah.
Okay, so I wonder whether or not Jim Steele knew in 1947 when he started this process that his shot was going to cost $400. I'm not besmirching this man's memory by any means, but I am saying that we should question whether one guy is right for 70 years for every animal. And the Center for Disease Control is at the top of this, and I have a very low trust factor with the CDC. Does anybody else want to comment on the reading? Because I found this
Well,
afternoon, and I was like, shit.
Cassie did an amazing job
Yeah.
reading this, but as far as he's concerned, he could have said anything. Let's be honest. He kind of made a name for himself and he made a career for himself. And nobody else would have known the wiser.
He lived till 100. So I wonder how many vaccines and shots he took.
I'm guessing 0.
Yeah, I'm right there with you. I'm right there with you on that one. And, I wonder, you always say people would turn over in their grave if they knew what was going on. I really wonder if he knew, like what's happening now with modern veterinarian medicine, right?
I think that he may have had a big part in what I fully believe he was part of the cabal.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Because he was dealing with the people at the CDC. I mean, these are all.
That's the point. Good point.
These are, all of the conglomerate, whatever you want to call the 3-letter agencies that are not for we the people or our animals, because they would like nothing better than for none of us to be here.
Well, and you look at this new vaccine and the fact that this SNRA thing can be transmittable to humans through the dog's saliva. It's almost like it's intentional, right?
Mm-hmm.
Even the breath.
Yeah, right.
That's just unbelievable that this is even happening. My dogs haven't received any shots for so many years, and they're never going to get another one.
Yeah.
And then I love my daughter very much. She's just amazing, but I haven't been able to talk her out of taking the dogs to the vet.
Mm.
It's like with anything that we're all experiencing, all of us that have waken up and that are knowing what's going on, there is going to be a time when they're all going to understand and know. And I have a really funny shirt that said, I used to be known as the conspiracy theory girl. Now I'm known as the girl that was always right. And I know there'll be a time where we're just going to have to love them through the process when they find out how duped they were or how wrong they were. And it's going to be a wake up time for everybody. I just hope it's sooner than later, right?
Exactly. Well, and I had no idea. I mean, I knew that they were, putting the mRNA into the veterinary shots as well. But man, all of this has just happened so fast.
Well, it was their next step if you go back to post-COVID when they were, you think about it, if you're reducing the population, and some of the information I've gleaned is they actually cut the China population from 1.8 million or billion, I'm sorry, to 900 million because of the COVID response and so forth. But what happens is you reduce the human population. What happens to all the pets? So their next step is, how do we reduce the pets?
Yep.
So it's just one transition to another. I mean, brucellosis, according, I grew up at my grandparents' knee basically, and we had milk cows. And what I was taught is brucellosis was a disease that deer carried, and it transferred from the deer to the cows, and from the cows through the milk.
How did it get how did the deers get it?
I have no idea, but the deer
Ticks?
grazed in the same pastures as the cattle.
The
So
transfer mechanism was scat. Supposedly,
yeah,
it was deer scat that bled and leached into the soil. There
right.
was a bacteria in the deer scat, which was parabolic to the bacterial engagement of what's it called? Turned hay, which is moldy hay. So the
Right.
deer scat was supposed to make the ground hay into a combination that spoiled the milk. I know this story. I've heard this from my great grandparents.
Right. So one of the interesting things you learn whenever you're around herd animals, and we had the horses were pastured out with the cattle. The horses would never eat the grass that would grow around the cow pads, and the cows would never eat the grass that grew around the horse
Go figure.
piles. So that was interesting, but if you look at deer scat, it's like rabbit scat. It's little tiny pellets, so it spreads out versus these piles that you get from the larger herd animals. So in theory, it is very possible that, yeah, it could transfer from the deer to the other bovine. So, that was my one thing I wanted to mention. I agree with you that, yeah, he was definitely, I'm sure at the beginning of his career, he was not necessarily part of the elite system, but it was obvious he was groomed into it simply by how deeply he was involved. But it's sad when you look at it.
Well, and look at right now, the people say, well, why are the dogs getting cancer? When we know a lot of it's the nutrition. We know that. But
Yeah.
where are their noses all the time? They're in the ground.
I worked for a
What's in the
Fortune
ground?
500 company that purchased IMES, and I
Yeah.
was involved with the quality control department
Oh,
in
yeah.
the department I worked with. And we had quality control people that came into the plant. And they wanted to look at our systems because IMES had been shut down numerous times by the federal government because they had issues with um I'm not going to whatever salmonellosis and
Yeah.
stuff
Yeah.
that was being put into the kibble. Well, come to find out, it was happening because they would bring these byproducts in from the butchers and meat process plants, and they would be sitting in these tankers on the railroad side in 100-degree weather plus, and they would be sitting there baking in the sun. Now, you would think that that would get rid of the microbes, but actually, it just created a big, huge petri dish.
Yeah.
So it just once you start digging into it, it's like I would spend all this money for my mastiff on this expensive Eukanuba Imes, and it's like, what am I really feeding them?
Yeah, and we didn't know when the premier foods, the not the Alpos, but when the Imes and the Eukanuba and the Avoderms all came out back in the early 80s, it was like a big educational process. Feed your dog better, feed your dog better. We really thought we were feeding our dogs better.
Actually, they were just jacking the prices up on the same
Yeah.
thing. I mean, I currently feed Lola a mixture of the Basic Instincts and Badlands, Kathy Heigl's brand of freeze dried food. So I'm,
Freeze dried is amazing. Freeze dried it's the closest thing that you can get to feeding raw. And we
Yeah.
feed our little pup the freeze dried. We travel in an RV a lot, and it's so
Right.
easy to.
Well, she prefers the baked chicken I give her once a day, but I will find the Basic Instinct, the hard kibble, the little round ones that aren't the freeze dried. They're scattered all over the condo. I'm all the time running around with the broom, and she will pick out all the freeze dried stuff, which tells me right there she's being discerning about what she's eating because
They
she
know.
likes the fresh stuff. So she's
Yes, they
picking
know.
out what is, so.
Yeah.
She's so smart.
They
Oh,
are
she's a
smart.
pain.
She's so smart. And it's a good judge of character too. Have you ever noticed? Like I have a dog that bites, unfortunately. He was a rescue. He was beat as a baby. So if he doesn't know you, he will bite your hand because he wants to disable the weapon that
Right.
beat him. But it's very interesting who he picks to bite. And every time he has bit somebody, my husband and I will kind of look at each other and go, what is
They're
he
very good judge of character, like children. So,
Yeah, they're
but
very.
Lola will go out for a walk, and most people she'll run up, smell their shoes, and run the opposite way. And
There you
probably 1 out of 30, she'll run up and she'll put her knees on her
Oh.
feet on their knees and look them right in the eye. And it's like, okay, that tells me a lot about that person.
Yep.
So,
Yep.
but it's interesting how she does
Can't
that.
be fooled, and that goes back to the placebo effect with our products. They can't be fooled. It's either going to work or it isn't. You can't
Right.
tell them they're going to feel better. With a person, sometimes we can talk ourselves into it, right? But with an animal, it's either going to work or it isn't. And that's always a fun thing too. But
Mike?
I go back, yeah.
I do have a question for those of you that feed so much of the human-based foods versus the kibble. Do you see that their teeth are not building up the tartar like the ones that are on kibble?
My dogs don't. My dogs really don't have tartar. The reason I use the coconut oil for Bailey is because he has inflamed gums,
Yeah.
and he always has. I don't know why. I don't know. I don't know what his story was before me. So I can
No,
only.
it's because we know so much, and we know they're always plotting how can I get the most money out of the situation.
Yeah.
And of course, I'm wondering if a lot of it's the corn base too that's
Oh, 100%.
causing all the issues with the teeth.
Well,
So-
Wait a minute. I think this is all a scam. I think the whole brush your dog's teeth shit is a scam.
Yeah, it's another way to make money.
In my opinion, in my experience, you give a dog a heavy bone game. Like in the front room, I have a box that's 8 inches deep, 12 by 10, and it's filled with stuff. It's filled with all sorts of toys. Bird Love put some dog toys last year, 2 years ago. Those still exist. We have all sorts of bones. So Diana, talk about that, because this is the way to brush your dog's teeth. Will you address that, please?
Yeah, when they play with this hemp rope, they actually will help clean their teeth. But you think about it, what dogs in the wild didn't need to have their teeth brushed because they found their own way to do it. Whether it was bones, antlers, tree bark, rocks, they would find a way to clean their teeth. But it's also the carbohydrates and the sugar that has helped to develop the tartar. From the foods that we're feeding. I mean, it all comes back to the food, right? It all comes back to the food.
Too many pup cups.
Oh, the pup cups. Oh, don't get me started on don't get me started. No, on the pup cups, no.
Yeah, Lola occasionally gets ice cream when I have it, but that's rare.
Hercules is asking in her mind, what the fuck is a pup cup? Will you please explain
Well,
what a
you
pup
can
cup is?
you can go to the conglomerate drive-through Starbucks, and they will give your dog a pup cup, and it's a cup filled with whipped cream. But it's not just heavy cream, which wouldn't be so bad for them. Too much is not good. But it's sugar. It's sugar. It's just sugar, whipped cream, and
chemicals.
But it brings people in. They do it for free. It's cute, and it's a marketing, genius.
Oh, dogs go crazy over it.
Oh yeah. But it's no different than I use
hard candy on our teeth. Yeah.
I use occasional cream on things, but I use no sugar, no additives. It's hard to find. And if my dog hears that little, he comes. He knows he's going to get this much. He's not going to get a whole freaking pup cup filled with sugar.
Well, not just that, but cow milk isn't good for the digestive system of your pets either.
Yes, that's right. Yeah.
So if you don't want to pick up the runs around your house, I suggest don't feed them that. That's awful.
I agree with you on that. Yeah.
My shepherds and my chihuahua poop like projectile capable output. So yeah, there's no run in this game. Yeah, I agree. Watch the poop, man. I know I keep kicking this turd, but if you watch your pet poop, you will be able to tell whether or not. Okay, so Diana sent me a bag of, I don't know, it's some treat. They're little, they're round. Oh, the Calmy treats. That's them.
The chill dogs.
Yeah, the doggy downers, whatever the doggy downers are.
Yes.
And when I have shepherds that will eat until their faces fall off. So I gave them both like a handful, and then I read the directions, and it was supposed to be 3 a day.
Oh
So
my goodness.
so they ate half a bag in 5 minutes.
Were
when I
they like
first opened the first
comatose
bag.
for the next 3 days?
They were comatose for like 18 minutes. So
Oh.
I have shepherds in the country. So they love to tell me what's going on. Just this afternoon, I had 4 white-tailed deer in the pasture. I had chickens running all over the place, and I had 2 barn cats taunting the shepherds. So there's a lot to digest if you have a small dog brain. But reading the label. So I want to close with this here because I know I have limited minutes of Diana's time and Kim's time. Not to disregard the time of my team, but if you're looking to really see whether or not this is working, right? Because the efficacy of an engagement is the proof of the engagement. And one of the reasons I work with this company is because their primary goal is to make this affordable.
Yes.
So if you wanted to send someone a Christmas gift that was affordable, it would have a great impact. You should tell whoever you're sending that gift to watch the shit, baby. If you watch the output, you'll know whether or not you're giving too much or too little. How much do I buy? Do you see where I'm going with this, Diana?
Yeah.
If you don't take a perspective engagement and watching your poop, and hey, look, a lot of people walk dogs in environments where the HOA says you have to pick up the poop. My dogs like to poop in the mud room, as I've trained them to, and man, I could throw that. I could hit you in the head and you'd feel it, kind of poop. So, and to watch the poop. Will you please save me from my diatribe here, Diana?
Well, yeah, but you know what? You said something really important. It's also about us being good stewards to our dogs and to our community. A lot of people will say, "Oh, my dog's going to run out into the desert and poop, and I'm just going to leave it there because it's okay." But it isn't, because if a donkey eats a dog's poop that's on kibble, this is not good for that, and it's not good for the indigenous species that are in that home. So we do need to pick up our poop, but we do need to also watch our poop. It's that time of year where they get into all kinds of things. Christmas tinsel, I know a lot of people don't use that anymore, but that literally can get into their system and bind them up and cause big problems. So yeah, watching the poop is a good thing. Yeah.
Yes.
Kim,
Thank you for saving my shitty ending. I appreciate that.
Yeah, it's just what we do, right? Kim, you were going to say something. Come back.
Yeah. We can get some closing comments in, and then we'll wrap up here today. I know I'm short on time with both you guys.
I was just going to mention when you held up the antlers, Onyx loves her antlers. And yes.
And they're
Ditto.
But I will say, if you have an aggressive chewer, it is important that you monitor and you watch, because I have an aggressive chewer who will chew until his gums bleed. So I have to take it away from him, and I put it in the freezer, and then I take it out. He just sits and looks at the refrigerator like it's going to open on its own. So good for them, the bone marrow. This is amazing. But, it is that time of year. You're going to gift your dog, your people that take a dog stocking. This is a great gift.
Yes.
It also keeps them busy.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, it's such a great thing to have. It's funny now having a second dog again. How engaged the other dog is when the new dog finds the antlers.
Oh.
Like so it's like a game now, like a competitive thing where they'll lay next to each other and they'll both find one of the antlers or the hemp rope. I mean, Annabelle wants to play tug of war already with the new dog, and the new dog has to stay calm right now, but I can see that that's going to be part of their coupling as siblings. It's going to be fantastic.
I'm thrilled to hear that in such short notice, they seem to be bonding. And this
Oh
is
my goodness, yes.
wonderful news, because sometimes there's that jealousy and they have to get
Right.
arguing.
No, I mean, he even gets along with the cat.
I love
It's
it.
incredible. And this is a dog we had a Skype conversation with.
Oh,
You
well, he
won't be
obviously
spoiled.
chose the right home, and you obviously
Yes.
said yes to the right dog.
Yes. Yes. And I can't thank this panel enough for everything. Back from losing Gabe, when he passed, and sitting with kind of that trauma all year. I can't thank this panel enough for lifting me up and encouraging me and helping me help my pets and helping other humans be well. I just can't thank you enough. I'm so grateful for all of you.
If we can't help each other, what good are we, right?
Right? Right.
If Mike
That's
Penny
what
were
we're
here,
supposed to do. That's what the whole world is supposed to do.
Yes. Yes.
if
So
Mike
we're
Penny
headed
were
that route.
here, if Mike Penny were here, he'd say, "Boom, baby."
Right. He definitely would.
Oh, I'm sure he's here.
I know he is.
He is, and we all miss him. It's been a tough year, but I
Yes.
applaud you guys for picking up and just keeping going, because the worst thing that we could do for the legacy of Mike is to give up.
That's right. Spot on.
My mama didn't raise
think
no quitter.
No.
Go ahead, Herc. I'm sorry.
Nope, that was all I had to say.
I'm approaching dusk, and I have to go bring my chickens in, like literally.
Would you like me to play a closing clip?
I would like you to play a closing clip and close the show for me. I have to go bring my girls in. So I scheduled this for 19 minutes ago to end in my head with dusk. So I appreciate everybody here. And I would encourage everyone to just try and improve the health of your household. You don't have to buy anything. You have to buy less things, like processed food and shit. But, oh, wait. Would you please close the show out for me, ladies? And I appreciate everybody here.
Bye-bye.
Good night, Gandalf.
Thank you.
Good night.
Happy holidays.
Yeah,
buddy. Look at that kid. Oh, come here. Come here, that crazy tail. That crazy tail.